Good morning. Welcome to today's session. In the last session, I have explained about CIPS, features of CIPS, activities and advantages of CIPS, and also about CIMS. So, I will explain about the once again. What is CIPS? Traditional production planning and control system will face many problems such as long manufacturing lead times, inefficient inventory control, quality problems, customer complaints, etc. In order to avoid these problems, Computer Integrated Production System is introduced to automate activities of production planning and control. So we can define CIPS as a computerized information system designed to integrate the various functions of production planning and control and reduce the problems faced in the traditional approach. So this is about the CIPS, and we have discussed about features of the CIPS and also activities of the CIPS. So what are the features? It is engineering and manufacturing database, material requirement planning, capacity planning, inventory management, shop floor control, and cost planning and control. So what is engineering and manufacturing database? This is the database comprises all the information needed to fabricate the components and assemble the products. It includes the bill of material, part design data, process load sheets, and so on. So this is about the engineering and manufacturing database. Next one, MRP. MRP means material requirement planning. MRP involves determining when to order raw materials and components for assembled products. It can also be used to reschedule orders in response to changing production priorities and demand conditions. So next one, capacity planning. MRP is concerned with the planning of materials and components. Capacity planning, on the other hand, is concerned with the determining the labor and equipment resources needed to meet the production schedule. Capacity adjustments can be accomplished in either short term or the long term. The short term decisions are include as follows. First one, employment levels. Next, number of shifts, labor overtime hours or reduced work week, inventory stockpiling, order backlogs, subcontracting. And long-term capacity requirements would include the following types of decisions: investing in more productive machines, new plant construction, purchase of existing plants from other companies, closing down or selling off the existing facilities which will not be needed in the future. Next one, inventory management. In the manufacturing environment, inventory management is closely tied to the MRP. The objectives are simple: to keep the investment in inventory low while maintaining good customer service. Next one, shop floor control. It refers to a system for monitoring the status of production activity in the plant and reporting the status to management so that effective control can be exercised. Next one, cost planning and control. The cost planning and control system consists of the database to determine expected costs to manufacture each of the firm's products. It also consists of the cost collection and analysis software to determine what the actual costs of manufacturing are and how these actual costs compare with the expected costs. So next one, advantages of the computer integrated production system. Much of the clerical work involved in collecting production data with traditional production planning and control system is reduced for engineer, reduced manufacturing lead time, reduced delay in meeting delivery schedules, efficient inventory control, no customer complaints, process planning followed perfectly due to proper tooling, more efficient process, bill of materials, road sheets are updated automatically with respect to latest engineering changes. So these are the various advantages of the CIPS. The next topic we have discussed about is CIMS, SIMS. In manufacturing industry, the integration of design activities and manufacturing activities can be achieved and it proved to be very effective. In the system, computer-aided manufacturing is commonly linked to computer-aided design systems. The resulting integrated CAD/CAM system then takes the computer-generated design and feeds it directly into the manufacturing system. The design is then converted into the computer control process such as drilling, turning, etc. If the business functions are also integrated with the CAD/CAM, then it is said to be the computer integrated manufacturing system or CIMS. And objectives of the today's session are the concept of MRP1, benefits of MRP1, and we will also discuss about the scope of MRP1 and the problems with the MRP system. So what is MRP1? Material Requirements Planning. Material Requirements Planning (MRP) is a production planning, scheduling, and inventory control system used to manage manufacturing processes. Most MRP systems are software based. An MRP system is intended to simultaneously meet three objectives: ensure raw materials are available for production and products are available for delivery to customers, maintain the lowest possible material and product levels in store, plan manufacturing activities, delivery schedules, and purchasing activities. So what is MRP? MRP is a production planning, scheduling, and inventory control system used to manage manufacturing processes. Most MRP systems are software based. An MRP system is intended to simultaneously meet three objectives. First one, ensure raw materials are available for production and products are available for delivery to customers. Maintain the lowest possible material and product levels in stores. Third one, plan manufacturing activities, delivery schedules, and purchasing activities. So what is the history of MRP? Prior to MRP, reorder point or reorder quantity type methods like EOQ, economic order quantity, had been used in manufacturing and inventory management. MRP was created initially to supply the Polaris program. Then in 1964, as a response to the Toyota manufacturing program, Joseph developed material requirement planning. The first company to use MRP was Black & Decker in 1964, with Dick Alban as project leader. Olikis 1975. In 1975, MRP was implemented in 700 companies. This number had grown to about 8,000 by 1981. So this is a history of MRP1. Next, scope of MRP. Scope of MRP in manufacturing. Dependent demand versus independent demand. Independent demand is demand originating outside the plant or production system, while dependent demand is demand for components. The bill of material specifies the relationship between the end product, independent demand, and the components, dependent demand. MRP takes as input the information contained in the bill of material. The basic functions of an MRP system include inventory control, bill of material processing, and elementary scheduling. MRP helps organizations to maintain low inventory levels. It is used to plan manufacturing, purchasing, and delivering activities. Manufacturing organizations, whatever their products, face the same daily practical problem that customers want products to be available in a shorter time than it takes to make them. This means that some level of planning is required. Companies need to control the types and quantities of materials they purchase, plan which products are to be produced and in what quantities, and ensure that they are able to meet current and future customer demand, all at the lowest possible cost. Making a bad decision in any of these areas will make the company lose money. A few examples are given below. If a company purchases insufficient quantities of an item used in manufacturing, or wrong item is purchased, it may be unable to meet the contract obligations to supply products on time. If a company purchases excessive quantities of an item, money is wasted. The excess quantity ties up cash while it remains as stock that might never be used at all. Beginning production of an order at the wrong time can cause customer deadlines to be missed. MRP is a tool to deal with these problems. It provides an answer for several questions. What items are required? How many are required? When are they required? MRP can be applied both to items that are purchased from outside suppliers and to sub-assemblies produced internally that are components of more complex items. So MRP is a tool to deal with these problems. Provides answers to the several questions. What items are required? How many are required? When are they required? Data considered in MRP. The end items being created, this is sometimes called independent demand. How much is required at a time? When the quantities are required to meet the demand? Shelf life of stored materials, inventory status records, bill of materials, planning data. So this is a MRP system. It is a system for calculating the materials and components needed to manufacture a product. It consists of three primary steps: taking inventory of the materials and components on hand, identifying which additional ones are needed, and then scheduling the production or purchase. And why MRP is important? MRP is one of the most widely used systems for harnessing computer power to automate the manufacturing process. MRP is considered a push production planning system. Inventory needs are determined in advance and goods produced to meet the forecasted need. While lean is a pull system in which nothing is made or purchased without evidence of actual, not forecasted demand. So how MRP works? MRP uses the information from the bill of material, inventory record, and master production schedule to calculate the required material and when they will be needed during the manufacturing process. So these are the inputs for the MRP system. What are they? Master production schedule, bill of material, inventory record. So these three will be processed in MRP1 system and will give you the outputs like purchasing orders, performance report, and other reports. So these are the various outputs given by the MRP1 system. So next one we'll discuss about the inputs. First input is master production schedule. The aggregate production plan must be translated into a master schedule which specifies how many units of each product are to be delivered and when. In turn, this master schedule must be converted into purchase orders for raw materials, orders for components from outside vendors, and production schedules for parts made in the shop. These events must be timed and coordinated to allow delivery of the final product according to the master schedule. Specifically, master production schedule is a listing of the products to be produced, when they are to be delivered, and in what quantities. The scheduling periods in the master schedule are typically months, weeks, or dates. The master schedule must be consistent with the plant's production capacity. It should not list more quantities of products than the plant is capable of producing with its given resources of machines or labor. So this is about the MPS master production schedule. I'm explaining it about once again. The aggregate production plan must be translated into a master schedule which specifies how many units of each product are to be delivered and when. In turn, this master schedule must be converted into purchase orders for raw materials, orders for components from outside vendors, and production schedules for parts made in the shop. These events must be timed and coordinated to allow delivery of the final product according to the master schedule. Specifically, the master production schedule is a listing of the products to be produced, when they are to be delivered, and in what quantities. The schedule periods in the master schedule are typically in months, weeks, or dates. The master schedule must be consistent with the plant's production capacity. It should not list more quantities of products than the plant is capable of producing, with its given resources of machine and labor. In the master production schedule, we got a term production plan. What is meant by production planning? So production planning, this is sometimes called aggregate production planning, and its objective is to establish general production levels for product groups over the next year or so. It is based on the sales forecasts and is used to raise or lower inventories, stabilize production over the planning horizon, and allow for the launching of new products into the company's product line. Aggregate production planning is a function that precedes the detailed master production schedule. So what is production planning? It is based on the sales forecast and is used to raise or lower inventories, stabilize production over the planning horizon, and allow for the launching of new products into the company's product line. And aggregate production planning is the function that receives the detailed master production schedule. So this is about the master production schedule. And the next input is bill of materials. The BOM, nothing but bill of material, is a hierarchical list of all the materials, subassemblies, and other components needed to make a product along with their quantities. Is usually shown in a parent-child relationship. The finished good is then parent at the top of the hierarchy. The inventory items in the BOM are classified as either independent demand or dependent demand. An independent demand item is the finished good at the top of the hierarchy. Manufacturers determine its amount by considering confirmed orders and examining market conditions, past sales, and other indicators to create a forecast, then decide how many to make to meet the expected demand. Dependent demand items, in contrast, are the raw materials and components needed to make the finished good. For each of these items, demand depends on how many are needed to make the next highest component in the BOM hierarchy. So what is bill of material? I'm explaining it once again. The bill of material is a hierarchical list of all the materials, subassemblies, and other components needed to make a product along with their quantities, each usually shown in parent-child relationship. The finished good is the parent at the top of the hierarchy. The inventory items in the BOM are classified as either independent demand or dependent demand. An independent demand item is the finished good at the top of the hierarchy. Manufacturers determine its amount by considering confirmed orders and examining market conditions, past sales, and other indicators to create a forecast. Then decide how many to make to meet the expected demand. Dependent demand items, in contrast, are the raw materials and components needed to make the finished good. And the next input is inventory record. So these are the various inputs we will give to MRP system. So these are the various inputs we will give to MRP system. So MRP is a system most companies use to track and manage all of these dependencies and to calculate the number of items needed by the dates specified in the master production schedule. Lead time, the period from when an order is placed and when the item is delivered, is another key concept in MRP. There are many types of lead times. Two of the most common are material lead time and the factory or production lead time. So material lead time means the time it takes to order materials and receive them. And a factory or production lead time is how long it takes to make and ship the product after all materials are in. Customer lead time denotes the time between the customer's order and final delivery. The MRP system calculates many of these lead times, but some are chosen by the operations manager and entered manually. So these are the lead time we'll consider in MRP. And MRP is useful in both discrete manufacturing, in which the final products are distinct items, that can be counted, such as bolts, subassemblies, or automobiles, and process manufacturing, which results in bulk products, including chemicals, soft drinks, and detergent that can't be separately counted or broken down into their constituent parts. So this is about the MRP. And the outputs of the MRP1 system, outputs and messages or reports. So there are two outputs and a variety of messages or reports will be given by the MRP1 system. Output one is the recommended production schedule. This lays out of a detailed schedule of the required minimum start and completion dates with quantities for each step of the routing and bill of material required to satisfy the demand from the master production schedule. And the output 2 is the recommended purchasing schedule. This lays out both the dates on which the purchased items should be received into the facility and the dates on which the purchase orders or blanket order release should occur in order to match the production schedules. And messages and reports. Purchase orders, an order to a supplier to provide materials. Schedule notices. These recommend cancelling, increasing, delaying, or speeding up the existing method or orders. So what are the outputs or the messages by the MRP1 system? Output 1 is the recommended production schedule. This lays out a detailed schedule of the required minimum start and completion dates with quantities for each step of the routing and bill of material required to satisfy the demand from the master production schedule. Output is the recommended purchasing schedule. This lays out both the dates on which product purchased items should be received into the facility and the dates on which the purchase orders or blanket order release should occur in order to match the production schedule. And the messages and reports are purchase orders, an order to a supplier to provide materials, reschedule notices. This recommended cancelling, increasing, delaying, or speeding up the existing orders. And how we will find out the order quantities. And we will use some of the methods like dynamic lot sizing, silver Merrill heuristic, least unit cost heuristic methods. So once again I'm explaining about the MRP1 system. MRP1 system uses the three inputs: master production schedule, bill of material, and the inventory record. MRP1 system processes these three records and will give the outputs and the different kind of messages. And the outputs will get, there are two outputs will get: recommended production schedule and the recommended purchasing schedule. And the different kind of messages and reports will get are purchase orders and reschedule notices. So this is about the MRP1 system. So these are the objectives of MRP1 system. To ensure availability of raw material in sufficient numbers to start the production. To ensure availability of sufficient number of finished product to be delivered as per the schedule. to maintain lowest possible level of inventory. Plan manufacturing activities, delivery schedules, and purchasing activities. So benefits of MRP1 system. The primary objective of MRP is to make sure that materials and components are available when needed in the production process and that manufacturing takes place on schedule. Additional benefits of MRP are reduced customer lead times to improve customer satisfaction, reduced inventory costs, effective inventory management and optimization. By acquiring or manufacturing the optimal amount and type of inventory, companies can minimize the risk of stockouts and the negative impact on customer satisfaction, sales and revenue without spending more than necessary on the inventory. Improve manufacturing efficiency by using accurate production planning and scheduling to optimize the use of labor and equipment. So these are the various advantages of the MRP system. Reduced inventory, improved customer service, greater productivity, reduced setup and production changeover cost. Better machine utilization, increased sales and reduction in sales price, quicker response to changes in demand and master schedule. Reduce purchasing cost, reduce manufacturing cost, reduce lead time, improves supply schedules. So these are the various benefits of the MRP one. I'm explaining once again. The primary objective of MRP is to make sure that materials and components are available when needed in the production process and that manufacturing takes place on schedule. So additional benefits are reduce customer lead times to improve customer satisfaction, reduce inventory costs, effective inventory management and optimization. By acquiring or manufacturing the optimal amount and type of inventory, companies can minimize the risk of stockouts and the negative impact on customer satisfaction, sales and revenue without spending more than necessary on inventory, and improve manufacturing efficiency by using accurate production planning and scheduling to optimize the use of labor and equipment. So these are the various benefits of the MRP1 system. The next topic is problems with the MRP system. Problems with the MRP system. Integrity of the data. If there are any errors in the inventory data, the bill of material data, or the master production schedule, then the output data will also be incorrect. Data integrity is also affected by inaccurate cycle count adjustments, mistakes in receiving input and shipping output, scrap not reported, waste damage, box count errors, supplier container count errors, production reporting errors, and system issues. Many of these types of errors can be minimized by implementing pull systems and using barcode scanning. Next one, systems require that the user specify how long it will take for a factory to make a product from its component parts. Additionally, the system design also assumes that this lead time in manufacturing will be same each time the item is made, without regard to quantity being made or other items being made simultaneously in the factory. A manufacturer may have factories in different cities or even countries. It is not good for an MRP system to say that we do not need to order some material because we have plenty of thousands of miles away. The overall ERP system needs to be able to organize inventory and needs by individual factory and intercommunicate the needs to enable each factory to redistribute components to serve the overall enterprise. This means that other systems in enterprise need to work properly both before implementing an MRP system and in the future. For example, systems like variety reduction engineering, which makes sure that product comes out right first time, must be in place. Next one, production may be in progress for some part whose designs gets changed with customer orders in the system for both the old design and the new one concurrently. The overall ERP system needs to have a system of coding parts such that the MRP will correctly calculate needs and tracking for both versions. Parts must be booked into and out of stores more regularly than the MRP calculations take place. Note these other systems can well be manual systems but must interface to the MRP. Next one, the other major drawback of MRP is that it fails to account for capacity in its calculations. This means that it will give results that are impossible to implement due to manpower, machine or supply capacity constraints. However, this is largely dealt with by MRP2. So these are the various problems by the MRP. And our solutions to the data integration issues like bill of materials. The best practice is to physically verify the bill of material either at the production site or by disassembling the product. Cycle count. The best practice is to determine when by a cycle count that increases or decreases inventory has occurred. Find the root cause and correct the problem from occurring again. Scrap reporting. This can be the most difficult area to maintain with any integrity. Start with isolating the scrap by providing scrap bins at the production site and then record the scrap from the bins on a daily basis. Next one, receiving errors. Manual systems of recording what has been received are error prone. The best practice is to implement the system of receiving by ASN from the supplier. ASN means advanced shipping notification. Shipping errors. The container labels are printed from the shipper. The labels are affixed to the containers in a staging area or when they are loaded on the transport. Production reporting. The best practice is to use barcode scanning to enter production into inventory. A product that is rejected should be moved to an MRP material review board location. So these are the solutions to data integrity issues of MRP system. So summary, in today's session we have learned about the concept of MRP1 uh, and the various inputs of MRP1, like the inputs of MRP1 like bill of material, production, master production schedule and inventory record, and the various outputs like purchasing order instruction, performance reports and other kind of reports and messages. And we have also discussed about various benefits of the MRP1 system, and we have also discussed about the problems encountered with the MRP1 system. Thank you.